I just got to shout out to mom because she's so sweet. I really enjoyed her company. So go ahead. Sorry.
She is pretty cool. And she reads all of my books. So, which is slightly uncomfortable on
Yeah.
occasion,
I was like, that's
but
not something I like. My mom's like, oh, I got your new book. I'm like, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the More Than Words podcast. I am your host, USA Today bestselling author of Dark Billionaire Romance, Dakota Willink. Today, I have somebody incredibly special with me. It's Patricia D. Eddy. She is a powerhouse author, a business savvy creative, but most of all, she is a personal and dear friend. From book releases to meltdowns about why our Facebook ads aren't working to brainstorming text messages at ungodly hours. I know I can always count on Patricia to be there for me. She truly is an incredible human. So today, our conversation is going to be a look inside the many ways the book world can forge lifelong relationships as we share the real parts that you don't always hear about publicly. But before we get into all of that, let me tell you a little bit about Patricia. Patricia is a USA Today bestselling author who writes protector romances featuring beautifully broken heroes and heroines finding hard-won happily ever afters. Fueled by coffee, wine, and endless Doctor Who reruns, she crafts stories full of heat, heart, and unstoppable chemistry. She's based in South Seattle with her husband and spoiled cats, but Patricia is probably most known for her award-winning Away from the Keyboard series, the place where her characters first began telling their own stories. So now, while I work on bringing Patricia in, I just want to remind everyone, like I always do, to make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Subscriptions are free, and smashing the like feeds the algorithm, allowing more people like you to find us easier. So let's get to this.
there we go.
Hey,
All right.
yeah,
Hello.
I haven't talked to you in a while. I mean, we'll be texting, but not like chatting on the phone. It's
No.
like the cruise, I think, since we talked.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think about like all the stuff that we were gonna talk about today, and then we can talk about like all the bookish things, but I feel like I don't know. That's what I talk about with people I don't know. So
Yeah.
it's me, it's more, I shouldn't say that I don't know. I mean, I know people, but not like I know you.
Yeah.
When I introduced you, I was saying how like a lot of lifelong friendships start in the book world. You hear it a lot
Yeah.
with readers. They meet online, and the next thing you know, now they're going to signings around the country together and they have great friends. And it's the same with authors. Like, I mean, we're
Yeah.
the same way. Um, yeah, because I don't remember when we first met online. I remember when we first met in person. It was down at
Right.
it was Shameless, the book
Yeah.
signing in Orlando. That's the first time we met in person, which was the year before COVID, 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was
Yeah.
the last one. I was doing like a whole bunch of signings that year. And then yeah, but I don't remember how we connected at one point online. I don't know if we just when did you first start publishing? I mean, did we just maybe start at the same time?
I started publishing in 2013.
Okay, so I was behind you. I was not till 2015.
So yeah, I
Probably
don't
suspense circles, maybe.
maybe. I mean, when was the anthology was after Shameless, right? The Leave Me Breathless anthology.
I think so,
'Cause
maybe.
I don't remember when that was.
No, I think that was before.
Well, then it would have been that.
Yeah, but I think we did a different anthology together that was not related to me, and then I did my own or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, but it was around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, before we jump into like all like the business end of everything, tell me something that you're loving and hating.
Um, I love this time of year, like just the leaves, and I love sweater weather and like having a fire in the fireplace and blankets and tea and all of that. But I really hate having to mop my floors every day because it's muddy and tracking leaves in and all of that. So
Yeah, that's true. That's
really,
true.
yeah, two sides of the same coin.
So that's your love and hate all in one.
Yes.
Well, actually, it's ironic
Yes.
because my love and hate is all in one too. I was shopping for a dress because we're going on a cruise with the kids for New Year's. Instead of doing Christmas
Mhm.
presents this year, we decided we're just gonna skip all that and go for memories instead. So we're doing
Yeah.
that. And so I was trying to find a dress and I keep getting all these ads for these Poppy Lush dresses. And they have like this built-in shapewear and stuff. So I'm like, all right. So I ordered one that I could just wear, like just going out just to see how it would fit. And then if it worked, then I would splurge and spend a little bit more money on the dress for the cruise. So I ordered this dress. It's like the best thing ever. Like when I talk about like the built, I never had a dress that had like built-in shapewear. Usually
Yeah.
all the stuff is like separate. So it's
Yeah.
great. You just pull it on, everything's in place, and it's fantastic.
Nice.
But the problem with them is the overboard emails after you do the online shopping. So I get, thank you for ordering your dress. We're preparing your order. Yay, dress. Your dress has been shipped. Your dress is on its way. It's almost there. Yay, dress. I'm like, I'm like, are you kidding? Dress is incoming. Expect your delivery soon. Now it's your dress
Yeah.
has arrived. I didn't need 20,000 emails.
Yeah.
But now then you get the other email. Thank you for ordering. Here's 20% off so we can give you another 20 emails. So so anyways, but yeah. Yeah, so that's my current like love and hate is all the email spam and then but also the product. The product's a good product. Um all right, so I was thinking about like all of our author group chats that we're in and how we just keep talking about the business and how everything is changing and people are like there's so much noise lately like around like KU versus wide trends, burnout, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. You and I we talk a lot about data, reader behavior, what
Hmm.
we think people are doing. So I'm curious, like what are you seeing from readers right now? What trends are you seeing that with readers?
Oh, it seems like every trend I see, I also see the opposite trend.
Mhm.
Like because the trend right now, like covers are all your illustrated, your like silhouettes, your, pastel colors and things like that. And then, but like every other day, I see readers complaining about that too.
Yeah.
And but yet at the same time, and I get it because they do a lot of the covers do look the same. There's only so many things you can do with a, and it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a man chest cover or a couple cover or an illustrated silhouette cover. There's only so many variations you can do. So you can have two authors who have never even looked at each other's work and they can design covers that aren't the same, but that have the same sort of vibe. And so I get, like, I understand from a reader perspective that everything looks the same, but everything looks the same for a reason because that's what's selling. And so for us as authors, we kind of have to snap to those trends because otherwise, like bookstores right now don't like to stock man chest covers. They just don't. You walk into any bookstore in the country and it's all illustrated and object covers and discreet. And so those of us with sexy covers, we can't get into the physical bookstores. And so yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of um I'm seeing a lot of opinions, but I'm seeing a lot of opinions that sort of oppose one another. So for every opinion on, oh, I want a man chest cover, I see an opinion on, oh, I don't want a man chest cover, I want an illustrated cover.
I see the
So,
same with KU because like I did an episode earlier, like it was like a few weeks ago about everyone like canceling Amazon because of, what's going on in the world. So but then so readers are like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to cancel Amazon. But then you have others saying, well, I can't afford to cancel Amazon. I have to read in KU because I can't afford to buy the book. So like you're right. There's like two sides to every single argument, from, yeah, cover design to even, but I mean, even us, like, my God, a year ago, I would have been like, you'll never catch me in KU, never in Kindle Unlimited, never. Because I've been wide forever. But then I
yeah.
started watching like some trends shift and the way that my sales has started to shift. And I'm like, well, you know what, maybe I'll give it a try. And it's been good for me. I don't know if I'm gonna stay with it beyond like February. I'll probably stay through February, but I don't know if I'm gonna stay there. because I don't like to be exclusive to one place. Uh, Plus I have like my Apple readers and my Kobo readers that get angry
Yeah.
with me with me about it. But you know, we all have to eat, so we got to figure out, you know, where to go. What do you think? Have you noticed like a trend, like readers trending towards like certain tropes? Because I'm very confused by that because there's some people that are like suspense doesn't sell, and I'm like, but it does because I sell books, and I'm
Yeah.
like I'm dark-ish suspense. Like I have a lot of suspense elements, but with it, I don't think I'm dark. Not dark like
No, no.
no, not like dark is now. I was dark like 5 years ago, so that's why I always say
Yeah.
dark-ish. But now
Yeah.
dark is like really gravitated. So I don't know. I don't know. What do
I
you
don't I don't see any, I don't see a lot of trends towards tropes these days. I think we went through a period where where everyone wanted dark romance and everyone wanted like pitch black romance, like just really, really dark and really just like we went all the way, from we started sweet and then we went all the way to the other side of the, across the spectrum. And now I think we're, I don't know, easing our way back
I
in
feel
that,
like, yep, yes.
yeah, readers at this point are looking for more of a wider selection. There's so much going on in the world that is dark and heavy. And so you get people who, I mean, obviously there are people who love dark romance. I love dark romance.
Mhm.
But sometimes, you get to that point of, no, I just want something light and sweet and funny now. Like I want something to take my mind off of things. And so, you know, I think we're seeing a little bit more variety in the tropes that readers are asking for, at least in my corner of social
I,
media.
I would agree, and I think that you could be onto something there when you say that. I think if they need people just need a palate cleanser because if you look at like the top 100 on Amazon, it used to always be like the top 10 were like hockey romance, right? Like hockey
Mhm.
was the whole thing for a while. Then it was all these dark romances with like a Colleen Hoover mixed in between, and
Mhm.
now I feel like we're all over the place, and contemporary seems to be more dominating in like the top 25 than the dark. We did go through a period where dark was really it was way up there. But I
Yeah.
mean, I will say too, some of the ones that were being classified as dark without like naming author names, I don't find them dark. Like because
Yeah.
and that was another thing too. I don't know if it was a marketing thing or what. Like I mean, I think like for like Pam Godwin, I always use her as an example because she can write really dark, but not all
Mhm.
of her stuff is super dark. It has
Right.
dark themes, but when she goes dark, she goes very, very dark. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, and most authors I would say they're more contemporary, but
Yeah.
so all right, well then that said, so like with the holidays coming up, I feel like Q4 is wild. I mean, I've had like really great years with sales, and then I've had others that were like last year I was like, what is happening right now? Is nobody like buying books? This year I'm kind of steady. So
Mhm.
I'm curious like how, I mean, other than I don't know about like I don't know about you. I know like the sales change, but even just my workflow, like my productivity, all of like everything changes. Um, how does your workflow change like with the holidays and your writing schedule and things like that?
The holidays don't really affect it for me. What affects it for me is I have ADHD, so I need a deadline and I operate to a deadline. And so like it will take me 3 months to write a book, but the first month is me getting the first 5,000 words done. And then the second month is, a chunk of like 15,000 words. And then the third month is 75,000 words because like I can't make myself do it until I feel that pressure. And so the last 2 years, I have ended up finishing a book in that just completely frenetic, like I don't even have time to eat, like just shove a hot pocket in front of me and check on me every couple of hours to make sure I'm still alive and haven't like fallen over on the keyboard. And I've done that like in October and November, and so then there's that natural exhaustion and just okay, I'm not doing anything for the next month, and taking the time to do things like organize my files because my downloads folder is a mess, and trying to set up some stuff for next year, and just not really getting ahead, because I don't ever think I get ahead, but trying to catch up from ignoring everything but my characters for, a solid month straight, because, I can't stretch the writing out. It just all
Yeah.
collapses towards the end.
I find my attention span is just not there during the holidays. Like I can't, I mean, I can sit and like work and, create ads and do graphics, but for writing, I feel like there's too much stuff happening, like because like I can sit and write, make graphics for an hour and it's not a big deal,
Mhm.
and then get up and leave because I might have to go do something with family or something like that. Whereas if I'm writing, I need solid, uninterrupted time. And I never ever get that like in the month of basically by like the second week of December, forget it. I'm done. Like there's no writing happening. Well, because everybody's in it. It's like a revolving door in my house. Everybody's constantly coming in and coming out. Even now, because like we got started a little bit late. I texted my son. I was like, yeah, you can't come home right now. Because like I know he's gonna like walk in the door and I'm like, just go see grandma and whatever. So and it's fine. Like they're used to it. If I say like, it's I'm working because when you work from home,
Yeah,
that's another thing that makes it hard too, is because people think that you work from home, it's not working. And like
right.
they'll just come over whenever. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I'm working. It's 11 in the morning. My mom will just call
Yeah.
and just want to like shoot the shit for an hour. I'm like, I gotta go. Like, I don't know. Well, speaking of like long writing, you just did a stone's throw because you were working on
Yes.
that when we were on the Alaskan cruise, and you were just while we were going and watching comedy shows in the evening, you were writing all the words. I know you said it's
Yes.
the longest book you've ever written. I have not read it yet, but it is good. You have audio coming, right, for that?
The audio is coming. The audio will be a little bit later than the ebook and the paperback, just because I had to delay the narrators because it was so long. It is 150,000 words. It is definitely the
Wow.
longest I've ever written.
Tell me about it.
And
What's it
yeah,
about?
so it is a amnesia storyline. The heroine was abducted by a cult, was injured when she sort of escapes and loses her memory, and her husband has been looking for her the entire time. So it's a falling in love while you're already married again, because obviously she doesn't remember him, and so he has to, woo her all over again. And so but I have been like the book that the first book that I wrote that the hero was in another series, because I like to do all interconnected, so that you can start anywhere and find characters you love. I knew the basic storyline back in 2021. That's when I first
Wow.
wrote the hero into another book as a side character. And it took me 3 years, almost 4 years, to figure out how to, like, all the intricacies that went into creating a cult, basically, and how cults operate, and how they can get, how, what happens when you get out of a cult, and how to just get back into society, and then all the research on retrograde amnesia and brain surgery and all of that. So
You
this
went
was it
like
was possibly the most detailed book I've ever written too.
Actually, it sounds like a book I would love. Especially because when you're saying about like the cult stuff, and because like that's like what was that like, writing all that and doing like the research and
I mean, I love murder shows as much as the next person. Like, so that part of it was really interesting. And again, that's part of what I have been doing since 2021, is just any documentary, any audiobook, nonfiction, any book that I could get my hands on how cults operate, and how they how they control people, basically, because it's not like it's there are psychological tactics, and to try and understand a lot of those was very, very heavy, but very illuminating, and very illuminating just in how even just society works and how marketing works. Like all like you can take little bits of say how a cult operates and actually translate that to marketing, because a lot of it is just repetition and a lot of it is just um,
Saying the same thing over and over and over
being,
again.
yes, and being confident. Like there was a comedy show or someone, I don't even remember who, at some point that did a segment on how if you are confident enough and authoritative enough and speak with conviction about a subject, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You can convince people that you're right. As long as you're not talking to someone who's an expert in that subject,
Mhm.
you can convince people that you are right, as long as you project that confidence. And so that was just really interesting how a lot of cult leaders, it's not that they're smarter than other people. It's not that they have any particular, sway or anything like
They're
that. They're
good at
just
selling.
very, very confident. Yeah, they're salespeople.
The best kind, yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you ever see that show? I think it was called The Following with Kevin Bacon, like from years ago. I want to say
Yes.
10 years.
Yes.
Like that, I was so upset when that show, they only did 2 seasons, I think, but I can see why, because how long can you continue that, like
Yeah.
that show? But that was really good. And that was also around the same time I had read Aletha Romig's Into the Light and Into the Dark. She
Mhm.
merged them now. I think it's under one title because she got the rights back. I don't remember what it's called. But that was the first time I ever I ever read like a cult in romance. And it wasn't
Mhm.
even like a super steamy romance. Romance, I mean, it was such an involved story. It was almost like the romance was a subplot, but it wasn't.
Mhm.
But it was just, you kind of forgot about that because you were so wrapped up in what was happening, like with this girl.
Mhm.
And that's when I was like, I need to write a cult. And then I just never, I forgot about it. And then when I was writing The Sound of Silence, I wanted to make, her ex-husband like really, really nutty. I didn't want him just to be like an abusive ex-husband. I wanted him to be deep in the weeds in something. And
Yeah.
he got into like this religious satanic type like worshiping, but it was originally supposed to be a cult. But then I realized I'm taking on a lot by doing
Yeah.
this. So I kind of changed what he was doing, but I'm like, I am going to write in a cult. So then when I started doing the the Trust Fall trilogy, that was supposed to be a cult. That was like going on there. And then again, I was like, this is so involved. I'm better off doing like a crime ring. And like it was
Yeah.
well, I shouldn't say so much it was better off. I could have done it with the cult, but I just felt like it was going to be too Dan Brownish because she's an
Mhm.
archaeologist. And then so between like that, like between like Dan Brown and like an Indiana Jones movie, I was like, okay, I'm you can tell I'm like a fan of that stuff because I was pulling from too
Yeah.
many things and I'm like, nope, nope, can't do that. Let's go in a different direction because I felt like the writing was getting away from me. And I'm like, I'm not Dan Brown. So this is not going to happen. We're not writing the Da Vinci Code. Like, so I'm like, my readers will never pick up another book by me again if I give them something like that.
Yeah.
So,
I have an entire notebook of trying to sketch out the cult's beliefs and why they needed her, why they needed the heroine, and how she gets away, and all of these different things, because it's not, it's, there's so many branches. Like if the cult believes X, then they want her because of Y, and they find her because of Z. But if the cult believes C, then they want her because of F, and they find her because of G, and like all of these different things. And I mean, there are just pages and pages of handwritten, because stuff like that,
yeah.
I need to handwrite it in order to really like process it. I can't put it on the page. I can't put it on the screen. I have to put it on a page. And I filled an entire notebook over the course of like a year and a half of, all right, I'm going to spend 2 or 3 days on this and just, all right, let's go down this path and see if we can get all the way there. Nope. Okay. Get 3/4 of the way there. No, that doesn't make sense anymore. And I'm very much in all of my suspense writing. I don't, it has to make sense. It has to be logical. Like I'm not going to just, um, you know, Deus machina, that stuff to
Right,
to
right,
just,
right.
oh yes, magic. I mean,
Yeah,
unless if I'm writing paranormal, great,
right.
magic. That's wonderful. That's what's great about writing paranormal. Writing
Well, and
suspense.
that was the thing, like where I was, because I was doing, like, when I was planning this out, I was like, this is way too like Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm like, I can't do this. So I'm like, I can't go into like that non-believable space because I don't write. I guess just not what my readers are used to.
Yes.
That was another reason why I backed off of that because of where it was going. And then, but I do have a plan that makes sense for a different side character because right now I'm under
Mhm.
the whole umbrella, like the Shameless Billionaire Club. So I have a side character who's going to meet a girl. And yeah, so that will get pulled in later. Who knows when I write that? That'll be like years. I'm too slow of a writer. But yeah, I've got 3 books ahead of that one, but that is on my agenda because it's something I really want to do. I didn't want to put it to bed. It just didn't make
Mhm.
sense like with what I was writing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so Stone's Throw, that's not part of a series, right? It's just a standalone.
It is part of a series, but again, like all of my series are interconnected standalones. So
Okay.
the first book is Blade's Edge, that's out now, and it's the hero's twin brothers story.
That's the book
So
in our giveaway, right?
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Okay. So
yes.
in the YouTube comments, there's a giveaway, paperback giveaway, and that book is in there. So sorry, go ahead. I didn't want to.
Yep. So his brother got a story first, and then so Stone's Throw is AJ and Grace's story, and then there's two side characters who are pretty, like they're heavy in Stone's Throw. Like you get to know them really well. And so books 3 and 4 are their books,
Okay.
basically.
But you
So
didn't
they're
have to
all
read the other ones to read this one, right?
correct. I make
I
it
just
so
want
that
to
you
know
don't,
because I haven't read like any of the
yeah.
books in this series, so I was just gonna go right to like pick up this one and
Yeah, no,
um
you can definitely, like, especially this one. This one is like, this is going to be the main book in the series, because again, you get to know the characters that are going to be in books 3 and 4, and you get to know them pretty well because they're integral in like helping to protect and solve the mystery and all of that. But the first book is a complete standalone. Like AJ's barely in it because he and his brother had a falling out and weren't talking for almost 3 years. So it was really easy to make Jasper's book a complete standalone. So I think AJ's in it for like 2 pages.
I'm
Maybe.
excited actually to read this book. I didn't know that this was what you were doing, like that's what it was going to be about. I feel like we talked about it 1,000 times too, and I don't know how the whole cult thing never came up. So I'm completely like fascinated now. Um, all right, I do have reader questions that were sent in that I have to get to, but before we do that, I just want to remind everybody to hit the like button if you haven't done it already, because it does help the visibility for the podcast so more people can find authors like Patricia. So let me pull up these questions here. My zoomed in screen apparently is not even good enough. Hang on, wait. Um, Okay, it's Abigail. I couldn't read like that. I mean, like I have it zoomed in, but I think I spelled it name. I might have spelled it wrong. So Abigail from Oceanside, California. She says that she is currently writing a book or trying to, but her kids and day job make doing it a challenge. How do you stay inspired when you feel drained? That's a good question, actually.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I have a day job. I have 3 cats. I have a house I have to take care of. I have a husband. It is, I mean, for me, in part, I think ADHD actually helps me in that aspect because I can manage to write in short bursts. Like if I have 20 minutes, I can write.
Wow.
But I think one of the things that helped me the most, especially when I was commuting every day, because now my day job I can work from home, which definitely helps. But the thing that helped me the most was carrying a notebook with me at all times. And I'm talking like little tiny notebook. It doesn't, you just go get something cheap, even from the dollar store, and just notebook and a pen, and those random thoughts of, oh, I should have the character do this, and oh, I should have the character do this, and oh, what about this? If you don't write them down, you will forget them. So
Oh, so
that,
Okay,
Yeah.
hang on. When you say if you don't write them down, you will forget them. And I know we've talked about this, and I don't remember what you told me to get, but I think I'm pretty sure we talked about this. I haven't gotten it yet though. I always get my best ideas when I'm in the shower. Well, clearly you can't have a notebook in the shower. So my phone is almost always on the outside ledge of the shower so that I'm like, oh crap. So then I go out and I'm like dictating notes. But somebody was saying that there's like a recording device you can actually like put in the shower, like a voice thing. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Was it you who was telling me that? I don't remember.
It might have been, but you can do that. You can also, depending on like how your shower configuration is, you could get like my shower is all glass walls.
Me
Uh,
too.
dry erase dry erase pen. Just put a dry erase pen on a shelf
Oh my
and
gosh.
just
My husband's gonna
right
be
on the
like, what?
wall. Like if it's
What are
a,
you
like if
doing?
well, like, I mean, again, like
I,
there are little things. If it is that good of an idea, like just dry erase it on the top part of the shower wall that the
yeah.
water doesn't hit. And then when you get out, you can go write it down. Um,
Or at least
that,
I can snap a picture of what I wrote so that
yeah, exactly. But yeah, like you can get little recorders that are waterproof. Or really just get like, depending on if you have like if you have an Alexa or any sort of like home device, you can get a little Bluetooth mic that just sits on the top of your shower, and that way you can dictate to them to your little home
that
device
might
if
be
that's
better.
something
That
you're
might be better in
comfortable with.
my situation. I don't know if dry erase would work because of the way that this, I think that the steam
Yeah,
won't.
it really depends on your shower
Yeah.
configuration,
Yeah.
but like
See, I'm
that
thinking
is
of like the finger paints from when the kids were little. I'm like,
yeah,
that would work.
yeah.
Um, Oh, all right. So, okay, we got another one from Jean from Topsail, North Carolina. What is the funniest thing that happened to you at a book signing? Oh,
Ooh. I don't know that there's been a lot of funny things that have happened to me
oh,
at a book
I know
signing.
you have a story, but it wasn't actually at a book signing. It was just it was a book week.
It
I
was a
think
book.
it was the funniest thing when we were in Edinburgh and the keys were locked
Oh,
in the car.
oh, well, okay, yes, yes.
Yeah.
That was definitely the funniest thing that happened at any sort of book signing. So we all went to Edinburgh. We had two cars. We drove. We drove to Inverness,
Yep.
right? Yeah,
We were in
we were in
Inverness, we were
Inverness.
leaving. My husband, yeah. My husband's one that locked the keys in the car. Yeah.
Yep. And so we were, standing around, and my husband is like, "Well, it's too bad you didn't bring your lockpick earrings." Because I literally have a set of earrings that are lockpicks, and they're not really like effective lockpicks. They're not really strong enough, um but like, yeah, I really should have. And then it occurred to me, I have a Leatherman. I have a tool. And then
The fact
I'm
that you
pretty sure
traveled all the way to
you
Edinburgh with that was
yeah.
crazy to me. Yeah.
Well, like I bring it to every book signing because I mean, it is a wonderful thing. It has a pocket knife, it has scissors, it has screwdriver, it has things you can use as a lockpick tool. And so I pull out my Leatherman, and I'm pretty sure it was you that looked at me and said, "Patricia knows how to pick locks."
Yeah.
Of course, Patricia knows how to pick locks. Like, yes, I do. Like, I have a lockpick set
Because you've
that my
written
husband.
characters that had to pick locks, so you had to figure out how to
Yes,
do it.
yes, exactly. And it's again, I tend to think of myself almost like a method writer. I like to really get in my characters' heads. If I'm writing a character who's depressed, I will warn my family, like, this is I may be a little down. Like, it's okay. Like, I'm in the character's head, and I can't always get myself out of it. Or if I'm writing a character who is, just, I don't know. When I was writing an ADHD character, like, I was definitely more ADHD those months because I was trying to put those traits into the character. So yeah, that was possibly that,
What was more
just
funny, like
to pick the locks, and then surfing over the luggage.
the luggage surfing was the best because the keys were in the the far back of the car, like it was like a hatch, or what was it, small SUV? I don't,
Yeah,
just so you know, like what was it, a BMW? If you put the keys in
I
the
think
car,
so.
yeah. So the keys were in the back of the car by the luggage because they were loading all the luggage in the car. My husband closed the hatch, and car locked. So like I don't know any car, like I have a Ford. My Ford does not lock the keys in the car. It beeps at you,
Yeah.
tells you, cars, and there's keys in the car. So when the locksmith came, he managed to get in, but he got in through the front door. Well, that didn't do any good for us because the key was in the far back. So Patricia was the only one that was small enough to get literally surf over the top of the luggage that was all piled like super high. I mean, she had like a space like this, like to
Yeah.
get in there. And then yeah, that was funny. That was definitely a funny day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so it wasn't really a book signing, but it was rare Edinburgh. We were all there for a book event. So
Yeah.
all right. So then now I have another one from Sue from Hazardville, Connecticut. What are you reading when you are not writing?
Ooh. Um, so I don't read romance when I'm writing at all. Because I don't want to be, two things will happen. Either I will read a romance and I will think, oh my goodness, I'm never going to be anywhere near as good as this author, and it will just tank my confidence. Or I will read a
Imposter
romance and
syndrome. It's real.
yes, and it will be the opposite. It'll be I just I don't I it just I don't really like this. Why don't I like this? And it has nothing to do with the author or how well it's written. It's just the fact that I'm in my own head, and I'm still like I'm comparing it to my writing, and it's not my writing. And so my brain goes, I don't know what to do with this. So when I'm writing, I tend to read nonfiction. And so when I'm not writing, that's when I will go and I will catch up on romance. So
Same with me. I
I
can't.
read, I do a lot of romantic suspense. I do a little bit of paranormal. I haven't done as much paranormal recently, and I don't really know why. In terms of reading, I don't know, maybe I'll focus on that over the holidays, just because I haven't for a while.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I am very much a mood reader, and so it really just
Yeah, me too.
I have so many books on my Kindle and my Kobo, and I will just sometimes I'll go through five of them and start five of them before I find the one that is just nope, it's this one right now, and just random.
Yeah. Let me put you down because I'm afraid she's gonna hit buttons on the computer. So, well, they're being good today, so I left them in the house. Normally, I either put them out on the couch in the garage. Our garage is finished. It's not, they're not uncomfortable. They're lounging,
Yeah.
on their little thrones out there or in the backyard. But now it's cold, so I just didn't want to put them out there. So I'm like, you just better behave.
Mhm.
Amazon, UPS better not come to the house to make them bark. So, all right. So now we have Diana from Athol, Massachusetts. She says, "Do you bring real life events into your books?"
Yes, but take I don't make them exact. Like there are hints about, say, COVID in some of my books, but we're talking things like a character saying, "Oh, handshakes are not as popular anymore." Like it's things like that. Um, I would say that kind of like Law and Order, my books are often inspired by real events, but aren't, they don't, they're not the exact events. I mean, I really think about the only thing that did make it into my books as an actual event was just the fact because I write a lot of post-military heroes and heroines. A lot of them joined the military because of 9/11. And so like but again, that's the extent of like it's a sentence, that
Yeah.
type of thing. So
Yeah, a lot of my stuff is inspired by like real things, or even like places. Say because especially like you try to because I try to write like when it's possible, write with things that I'm like sort of familiar with because it's less
Yeah.
research, because my books are so like research heavy that like I did in the Stone Saga, it's she works at Wally's grocery store and like there's this you can tell I was writing it in the fall because this is what I was thinking at the time. I used to work at Wegmans and that's where like Wally's, Wegmans, like that's where kind of like
Mhm.
even like the W kind of
Yeah.
came from there and she was building an end cap for um it was like it's all the ingredients you would need for a green bean casserole. And because I pulled from like real life like what would be on
Right.
this end cap and whatnot. And I remember even using the word planogram when I was writing it, and people are like, "What? She just made up a word." It's like, or like Amazon, like I've had reviewers say it's a made up word, and they're marking it wrong. It's like just getting like because Amazon, if you report a typo, it
Mhm.
sends it to Amazon, and like we get like ugh, such a pain in the butt. I'd rather just get an email from the readers than have them send it to Amazon.
Same.
But
Same.
that yeah, no, but the people don't think that's a word. I'm like, anybody who's worked retail knows that planogram is absolutely a word. Or another one that gets flagged as a portafilter because she goes into a coffee shop and they're
Mhm.
making the espresso and like the machine, like with the thing that like they put the espresso in and they
Yeah.
take it down, it's called a portafilter.
Yeah.
And I knew
Yeah.
that from when I worked at Starbucks, and people are like, that's a made up word. Or like Amazon thinks it's not really a word. I'm like, it's a word.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that was that. I just want to remind everybody about the giveaway for the paperbacks that's in the YouTube description. Patricia, is there anything else that you want to share? Anything else you want to talk about?
Um, Stone's Throw comes out November 14th. I think it is.
This will air after that. So the book will
Okay,
be
so
out.
Stone's Throw will be out.
Mhm.
I think this is my most emotional book ever. It is the book that I cried the most while writing, and I am not a crier in any way, shape, or form. Um, and I cried repeatedly writing this book, including many times on the cruise, like in front of my mother. Which thankfully she was reading her own book and
How is your
did
mom?
not
Your
notice.
mom, I just got to shout out to mom because she's so sweet. I really enjoyed her company. So go ahead.
She
Sorry.
she is pretty cool. And she reads all of my books. So, which is slightly uncomfortable on
Yeah.
occasion,
I was like, that's
but
not something
so
I like. My mom's like, oh, I got your new book. I'm like, I'm really afraid for her to read like Take Me Darkly when it comes out. I just hope she doesn't get it. She's gonna think that I'm in like a satanic cult or something because like I really go into the Catholic guilt and like Club O is like a converted church and I go into all the details of like what like where like the sacristy used to be. For all the Catholics that might be listening, you'll know what that is. Like and what it is now. She's gonna be like, "What? What are you what are you writing?" Like I'm telling you, she's gonna tell me I have to go to church, which I won't, but but she will try to tell me to go to church. So there's that. But
yep, yep. So yeah, so pick up Stone's Throw. I hope you love it, and I hope you check out all of the rest of my books because there are a lot of them, so you can binge.
how many titles do you have?
Over 50. I stopped counting. At some point, I need to count again. Well, actually, between now and the end of the year, I'm trying to get all my marketing like database all up to date. And so at that point, I will have a final count because they'll all be in a database. But yeah, over 50.
Yeah, I wish I had that backlist. Whenever I hear authors with like these big backlists, I would just be happy for like 20 books right now. I'm getting there slowly. I'm at like
Yeah,
I just wish I could write faster. But like I said, I need like large chunks of time. You said you can write like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there.
yeah.
I can't. I might be able to go back and edit, but I can't write for that period of the short period of time. So, all right. Final thoughts before we go. Tell me your unpopular opinion. Could be anything.
Oof. I've been thinking about this for like 2 days, and I don't know. I hmm. I would say my unpopular opinion is that despite the fact that some of actually all of, I think, my closest friendships have come out of social media. I kind of hate social media.
Yeah.
I hate it a lot.
Yeah.
But despite the fact that, but at the same time, like you and I would not know each other and would not be friends without social media. Like we just, yeah, it's, I have a very love-hate relationship with it.
It did bring us good friendships though. Like, you know,
Yes.
I just think about even like our group, like our author group. I was actually thinking about all of you the other day when I was putting up my Christmas tree. I meant to send a picture. Here, I'll grab it. Hang on. No, so I have the ornament that Susan sent. So like the group of us from when we were on the retreat, can you see it? So
Yep.
there's that, and then our the one from Ellicottville when we were all on our author retreat in Ellicottville. So I'll have to put it back on the tree and text pictures. Then you're all gonna
Yep.
think I'm crazy. You'll be like, I can't believe she has her Christmas tree up. For those, you know, because like I said, this is gonna air in December. Right now, it's actually November 4th. But I have a very busy couple of weekends coming up, so that's why all of my Christmas stuff is up really early. Because I don't know when I'm gonna get it done, and I have to have it all up before Thanksgiving. So, but that's okay. It's fine. I love it. I love Christmas. I don't mind having it up early.
Yeah. Yep. Same here. I plan on starting to decorate this weekend.
So, and now you see like all my stuff. So now you're gonna be like, John, clean up your stuff so I can get my
Mhm.
Christmas.
Yep. Yep. Nope. He knows. He knows he is supposed to get all the Christmas stuff out. It is at least all in one place since we moved because, it's more organized than it was. So
It'll be fun
hopefully.
decorating a new house
Yeah.
though, because you know
Yeah.
I mean, you've got in there in what, August?
April, end of April. So
Was it that, oh that God,
yeah.
man, this year has just flown. It
Yeah.
really flew by. Like it just seems like it was just over the summer. I didn't realize it was April. So
Well, it's because it took us 2.5, 3 months to clear out the other house.
yeah,
So
maybe. So all right. Well, Patricia, thank you so much for being here, and
thank
for
you.
keeping it real with me like always. And also thanks for being like the person I can text about like virtually anything at any time of the day. But yeah, I think that's it. Just a reminder to everybody to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And don't forget to check out the giveaway that's in the podcast description. Oh, all right.
All right.
All right. We'll
Thank
talk to you later.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into the More Than Words podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button and consider sharing it with your friends so more people can find us. The more people we have listening, the more fun we can have on our shows. And most of all, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting authors everywhere. Thanks and happy reading.